Hi there. Beautiful afternoon during the work week. But it's gorgeous. Perfect front porch sitting and enjoying. I've been seeing a lot of stuff come up on my phone lately, a lot of nostalgic stuff. Um, Probably the biggest one is the 1980s. How everybody's missing the 1980s and had the best movies, the best music, and blah blah blah. And you can argue either way. But as someone who grew up and graduated and was married before the 80's got out, um, yeah, it was an incredible time. It was a very incredible time. And if I had to describe it, it was carefree. I mean, the worst things you had to worry about was relationship type stuff. Um, that was it. You didn't, I mean, yeah, you had the Soviet Union, the Cold War stuff, but that was winding down. At least that's what our generation felt like. So it wasn't as prevalent as doing bomb drills in school where you get under your desk and cover your head, because that would really, yeah, that would really stop a nuclear bomb. But yeah, it was carefree. It was, put it this way, when I went to school, when it was warm weather, all the windows would be open, the doors would be open, and you could feel the breeze going through the hallway and stuff. Um, if it was the end of the school year, that made it even more exciting, because, I was letting you know summer was just around the corner. Last day of school was almost here. School's out for the summer. Um, but I never went to school worrying about my safety ever. I mean, the worst thing you had to worry about is, there's been bullies around as long as humankind's been around. You know, uh, but with that being said, you never had to worry about the bully pulling a knife on you or shooting you or anything. And the teachers really never had to worry about the students standing up and striking them. Um, you know, what, one in a million, maybe. And when you went to town back when I was in school, um, you dressed up. Um, if you were in high school at that time, you would, you would dress up, and the girls would have their hair, full can of Aquanet in their hair, but they're always looking fine. And so us guys, we would try to look as cool as we possibly could. Um, Nobody dressed down. When you went to the store, nobody, and I mean nobody, wore pajamas to Walmart back then, if you can believe it. I know, it's a shocker, but nobody did. Um, I know our mindset was, or at least mine, what if a cute girl saw me? I didn't want to be dressed bad, I wanted to, you never know, might get a phone number off of her or something. Um, you never heard the F bomb in public. And if you did, I have to admit, I may have heard it, but it was so rare that, it'd be, it would shock people. So, yeah, it wasn't accepted back then. You just didn't do it. Um, crazy. Just things you never did. Things were more polite in public. He said he never heard the F-bombs or anything else like that. Hell, my mom, when I was really young, would leave us kids in the car while she went in to shop. We begged her to because we didn't want to go in shopping with her. And we would just play games in the car until mom was done. You didn't get cops calling on you because you left your kids in the car. You left your kids in the car. And she didn't have no worry of anybody stealing us or anything. We never thought of anybody coming and stealing us. So things were a lot more laid back then in public life. You rarely saw any road rage or anything like that. Why am I saying that? Well, again, as I started the conversation, people were always commenting, how great the music was, how great that was. And I look at it as, if you don't like where we're at, why don't we do something about it? Why don't we act like we did back in the 80s? Don't we hold the key to that? Don't we owe it to society to not let it denigrate any further than what it has? And I think we all can agree it has denigrated. I mean, my God, look at politics. It's everywhere. I mean, when you turned on the NFL back in the 80s, you didn't hear politics. You didn't know what the players' politics was. You could care less. Or the announcers. But now it's even in politics. Or even in politics. It's even in sports. Sports was meant to be a diversion from daily life. And if you were a fan, it didn't. I mean, now you got people that it's all their clothes are is just their favorite team and stuff, and it's like it's extreme, and you even hear that word extreme, but that's not necessarily a good thing. You know what we should be extremely concerned about, and then that is our society. What kind of society are we going to leave for our kids or their kids? Because people like my age, I got grandkids. What kind of world is it going to be for my grandchildren? In another 10, 15 years, if we keep going on the way we're going. And to me, everything that's going on is by choice. It's by choice. We just need to get together and talk about it. I've seen this video on the internet. Charlie Kirk, don't know if you know him, but look him up. And he goes on college campuses to have conversations. And his whole point is, when you stop talking to someone you disagree with, and when a society stops talking to the other side it doesn't agree with, really bad things happen. Really bad things happen. Like, lots of death starts happening. Because you dehumanize the people you disagree with, instead of trying to understand their point of view. Even if you never do understand their point of view, at least have a dialogue between the two and try to come to some sort of mutual understanding. But when dialogue breaks down, and when you have entities trying to kill dialogue, I'll give another one. Bill Maher, visiting the White House. Oh my God! You would think that he went and slit somebody's wrist. If you think that is a bad thing, that Bill Maher went and talked to the President of the United States and had dinner with him, and man, everybody we know that Bill Maher has not said the best things about, but still went to talk to him. That is a great example that he set. Now, I don't agree with everything Bill Maher says. In fact, there's probably nobody I agree 100% with. That's normal. You know, we all have our own ideas and stuff. But I respect the man for going and having dinner with him. I don't expect him to come back converted. That wasn't the point. The point was just to set the precedent that maybe we should get talking with each other. And another thing that he said, which I thought was really good, he goes, what's the alternative? Keep saying the same thing we're saying, keep writing the same op-eds, keep saying he's the devil, keep saying he's Hitler, blah, 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 when there's absolutely no evidence of that. I mean, the man already served a term. Okay, who took away more civil rights? President Trump or President Biden? I don't know about you, but my almost 60 years on this earth, medical stuff was between you and your doctor, and nobody knew. You know, there was even this thing called HIPAA. You know, you're not allowed to tell anybody. Yet, President Biden made it that you had to do stuff in order to keep your job medically. That's never been done before. Now, I'm not picking on him because he's a D or an R. I'm just saying that's never been done before, and that has to carry some weight. Okay? He forced, and the CEOs of the companies have admitted that his administration forced entities to curb speech, shut people down, quiet them, take them off of the public platforms. Now, the last time I can think of something like that was World War II, when the Japanese Americans were not treated exactly good, if you know what I mean. We all know what president did that. Now, whether that was right or wrong, you decide. But I'm telling you, when you take away people's rights and freedoms and you try to justify it, it's not good. It's not good at all. So we as Americans, if we yearn for those years and how things were back then let's start doing things that turns that tide back to that. Maybe we can even come up with a society that's even better than what the 80's were. But that's kind of in our hands, isn't it? So, what are you doing to help bring back the 80's? Besides listening to the music and watching the movies. Are you in public treating others as you did back in the 80's? Are you polite? Are you going out with the attitude you really don't care what people's politics are? Let's just enjoy the day. Let's just enjoy the time. Let's just enjoy what we're doing, you know? Or if someone's wearing clothing, or if someone's driving a certain car, and if that's making your blood boil, you might have a problem. And it may be you. If we want the 80's, we're going to have to fight for it. bring it back. And the best way to do it is our actions. So I'm doing my part. I am going to be in public as nice as I ever was. Maybe even better because I'm older now, more mature, have a little bit more tact. But I'm going to turn up my 80s music. I'm going to have a smile on my face. I'm going to be polite to those around me. Open the door for people if I'm standing there to be polite and let them in before me. No matter what clothing they're wearing, no matter what car they're driving. Because I want to look at them as people, humans. And not give a shit what their politics are. All I care about is how they treat others in public. Because I'm kind of tired of the rudeness in public. I'm tired of the F-bombs in public. Of the pajamas in public. Because if you're wearing pajamas to Walmart, pretty much says it all, right? Either you don't care enough to put on decent clothes to go outside and to go in public. That's not caring what other people think. That's caring enough about yourself that you make yourself presentable for public. That's just caring about yourself. Let's start there. Let's start there. No more going to Walmarts in pajama pants and slippers. Let's care enough that we put on something halfway decent and care enough about ourselves. And when we get there, open doors for others. Let someone down the aisle, be polite, grab something off the shelf for an old lady or an old man. Do the things that we did back in the 80s. That's probably enough for today. Let me know what you think. Drop comments below. Or like. Or any of those other things. And let's bring back the 80s, man. Rock on. Peace.